So these are the rehearsals that they were doing for thousands of years before Messiah ever came. Now let me ask you something. Do you remember what month Messiah drove everyone out of the temple? Most people have no idea. They can't tell me a month, whether it was December or November or what. Well, when you understand what was going on, the dress rehearsals, you will never forget. If you'll notice in John 2:13 through 15, it says, now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and he found in the temple those sold oxen, sheep, and doves, and the money changers doing business. And when he made a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the temple. So what is going on here? He's getting the leaven out of his father's house before the Feast of Passover. It's the dress rehearsal. And he wanted to get the leaven out of his father's house. Now, first off, do you understand how important there could be no leaven in the house? And how if there's leaven in your house, you'd be cut off from Israel? Well, when you don't understand things from a Hebrew mindset, and you only understand it from a Greek mindset, you're going to create all kinds of ridiculous things, such as a picture of the Messiah at a table with all of his disciples for Passover. He's got a big loaf of bread in his hand. Hello, this is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And so one of the exciting things is that we see that the search for leaven begins in his father's house. Now, in 1 Peter 2:5, he also says, you also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood. So we need to realize we also are spiritual houses, and we need to get the leaven out of our house. As a matter of fact, you know where spring cleaning came from? That's where it came from, was the whole concept of cleaning the leaven out of the house. And that's very important to understand. 1 Corinthians 3:16 and 17. It says, know you not that you are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwells in you. So we can see here we also are the temple of God. There was also leaven in the church at Corinth. We see in 1 Corinthians 5:1 through 2. That it's reported commonly that there's fornication among you. You are puffed up. That's what leaven does. It puffs us up. And it says, don't you know a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Well, we need to realize that a little leaven in our lives puffs us up as well. And we need to get the leaven out of our house. So during Passover, we need to be concentrating on getting the leaven out of our house. As a matter of fact, in 1 Corinthians 5:7-8, it says, therefore, purge out the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, since you truly are unleavened. Think of the word matzah. What God is saying is you are matzah. You're to be unleavened. And then notice what it says. It says, for indeed Christ, our Passover, was sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast. So in the New Testament, the Brit Hadashah, they didn't stop keeping Passover. Here we see the Apostle Paul commanding everyone to keep the feast of Passover. As a matter of fact, when you look at matzah, which represents Messiah, because he was unleavened, you're going to notice that it is striped. It is pierced, as well as being unleavened.